Narasingre Bhagavan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. I want the 7th canto, actually. I thought about it. Your Bhagavatam, 7th canto, you have? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhadeva.
Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhadeva.
Namaste Jaste Jase.
Namaste Jaste Jase.
Aviravir Bhava.
Aviravir Bhava.
Vajranaka.
Vajranaka.
Vajradamstra.
Vajradamstra.
Karmasayan.
Karmasayan.
Randaya Randaya Tamograsa Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuyista Om Ksrom. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Narsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possess nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananana Salakya Shakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sigaro Siyutapadakamalam Sigurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagna Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I just first wanted to focus on that verse Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhadeva, which is describing Lord Narsimhadev as the source of all power, with nails and teeth like thunderbolts. And then we pray that the Lord may vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world, and then appear in the hearts and drive away the ignorance there. That verse appears to be a little strong if you think about it, like inviting a lion in your heart who is going to just with nails like thunderbolts and teeth going to rip up our material desires. Are we really ready for such a prayer? Or do we say, well, maybe I'll skip this one? No, we should see that Lord Narsimhadev, when he appeared from the pillar, at that point, Lord Narsimhadev was red hot with anger. His anger was so extreme that nothing could pacify it. Even after Hiranyakashipu had been killed, the anger of Lord Narsimhadeva was still raging. And it was so overwhelming that the demigods who were present on this occasion, they felt thrown back by the force of that anger. And they didn't dare to come near to the Lord. Even Lakshmi Devi would not go near the Lord. So in this way, Lord Brahma, who has a body of pure intelligence, Lord Brahma was thinking, well, he appeared because of Prahlad, right? Therefore, Prahlad, here's a garland, you go. And he sent Prahlad, right? And as soon as Lord Narsimhadev saw Prahlad, immediately his mood completely changed. All anger was gone. Because the Lord's anger is not the anger of a conditioned soul. When a conditioned soul becomes angry, then it takes 3 days, don't talk to me, still angry. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the purpose of his anger fulfilled. Now in front of Prahlad, there was no trace of anger left. Lord Narsimhadev immediately went into a totally different mood. And it was then that Prahlad began to offer prayers to the Lord. Tasmat aham vigata viklava isvarasya sarvatmana mahi grinami yatamanisam nicho jaya guna visargam anupravista pujeti yena hi puman anuvarnitena. Therefore, although I was born in a demoniac family, I may, without a doubt, offer prayers to the Lord with full endeavor, as far as my intelligence allowed. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of material life if he offers prayers to the Lord and hears the Lord's glories. Sarve yama vidi karastava sattvadam no brahmadayo vayam ivesana chudvijanta ksemaya bhutaya uttatma sukaya chasya vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatare. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your Lordship, who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. So Prahlad first takes a humble position, saying, I'm a Daitya. I'm from the demoniac background, and here are all these demigods headed by Lord Brahma, and they're your natural servants. But we, the demons, we are not in that category. Nonetheless, anyone can be purified by praying to the Lord. Tadyacha manyum asuras chahat tvayadya modeta sadur apivichikka sarpahacha lokascha nivritim ita pratiyanti sarve rupam nashinga vibhayaya jana smaranti. My Lord Narsimhadev, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed, since even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake. All the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they're confident of their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. Srila Prabhupada describes that once in the days that he was a grihasta, visiting the ashram of his spiritual master in Mayapur, that at that time there was a snake, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had given order that the snake should be killed. So Prabhupada was a little shocked, saintly person, killing. But then he read this verse. So when he read this verse, that even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake. Prabhupada felt totally relieved in his heart. Yes. So in this way, the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj are prayers that establish Siddhanta. They establish the proper perfection of conclusions. Siddhanta could be translation. Siddha means perfection, anta means end or conclusion. So Siddhanta, the perfection of conclusions. In this way, we're appreciating that the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj are very important. When we look at the entire pastime, it spreads out over many chapters, and there are many colorful details. We find descriptions about Lord Narsimhadev with his manes and the little drops of blood from the body of Hhiranyakkasipu all throughout his manes, and making him look very beautiful, actually. The combinations of color and so on, and garlanded with the intestines of Hhiranyakkasipu, and all these things are described in full color 3D. But we are not really going to focus so much on that aspect. I want to focus on the prayers of Prahlad, because these prayers are very rich. Prahlad is just from his very appearance, an extraordinary personality. He heard in the womb of his mother, while Hhiranyakkasipu was performing austerities, Indra was thinking, oh, there goes the wife of Hhiranyakkasipu, and from the belly he could see she's expecting, and oh, what can we expect, right? What can we expect now that she's expecting? There must be a terrible demon. Oh, we must do something now, better now. We just enter into the womb in some way and throw a little thunderbolt or whatever tools Indra has to his avail. Well, Narada Muni, who is he is the spiritual master of the Devas. So when Narada Muni appeared, and when Narada Muni said, "Stop," okay. Yeah, yes. Says, this is not a demon. In the womb of Kayadu, there is a great devotee. Then Narada took her to his ashram and made sure that she was protected, and he read out or recited, rather, Srimad Bhagavatam. And when he did so, she was tired and this and that, and she would not always stay awake. What can be said? But the child in the womb heard everything, and the child in the womb became a devotee. And then after his birth, Prahlada, Prakrista Rupena. Prakrista Rupena means in its full-fledged form, pra. And Alat means great happiness. So, complete happiness in its full-fledged form. Prahlad was like that as a child. They would call him for prasad or call him to eat, and he would not pay attention. He wouldn't even notice it. He was so absorbed. So his absorption in remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead did not just occur only when it was time to pray for protection, when all the demons came, because Yes, it is described that at one point, this boy was clearly incorrigible. He was talking about Vishnu. Now, Vishnu was certainly the enemy of Hhiranyakshipu. First of all, Vishnu had killed the brother of Hhiranyakshipu. A great calamity. And the coward, after killing Hiranyaksha, he was not ready to face Hhiranyakshipu, because otherwise Hhiranyakshipu would have fixed him up right there and then. But he rather was hiding. And where was he hiding? He was hiding in the hearts of the living beings. Just see. And just see my power. See my power, Hhiranyakshipu was thinking. See my power. Yes. Even Vishnu, right, is avoiding the confrontation, knowing very well, he doesn't stand a chance. And then we go, Hhiranyakshipu performs his austerities. Hhiranyakshipu thinks he's smarter than Lord Brahma, who, when he asks for immortality, Lord Brahma says, how can I give you what I don't have? No problem. Just that I will not die inside, outside, not in the day, in the night, not by any weapon, not... and in this way, he systematically got rid of all the causes of death, of course. But received too, when what the saintly person speaks, the Lord will uphold. So therefore, because Lord Brahma had given this benediction, the Lord was upholding it. And it was not a human being that killed him, and it was not an animal. He was half man, half lion. It was not weapons. It was Vajranaka. It was thunderbolt nails. It was not inside, outside. It was on the doorstep. And it was not in the day nor in the night, because it was twilight. So, very expertly, the Lord effortlessly fulfilled all the conditions of the benediction, and still killed him. Yes. Meanwhile, Prahlad had been tortured, Prahlad was truly dhira. Prahlad was truly undisturbed. Nothing was disturbing his mind. At one point, Hhiranyakshipu called the snake charmers, right? And asked them to do something about it. Yes, this boy, that was incorrigible. No problem, we'll fix him up. And they brought out some large serpents. And in the Nrsimha Purana, there's a little detail where it is said these snakes, they tried to bite Prahlad, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead put an impenetrable layer of protection over Prahlad, and as a result, those snakes broke their teeth. Yes. So, in this way, and their mouths were bleeding. So, yes, it was a whole thing. And Prahlad was never afraid. Prahlad was praying to the Lord, while they threw him in the pit with snakes. He was praying to the Lord while he was being boiled in hot ghee. Pakora. So, Prahlad, when he was thrown off a cliff, the Lord made the rocks below soft like cushions. And Prahlad landed nicely. Prahlad, in all these situations, remained totally undisturbed. Prahlad, in all these situations, did not pray to the Lord in great fear. We probably, if someone tries to throw us off the tower of Radhadesh, then probably we'll also start praying like anything. I'm sure everyone here would pray to Krishna. Krishna! Like something like that effect. That would probably happen to us. But we would be dead scared at the same time. How could we be unaffected? But this Prahlad was just fearless. Vedanta Deshika, who was a great scholar in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, one of the acharyas coming after Ramanuja Acharya, Vedanta Deshika, described something like that. He said, Prahlad, they threw you in the pit with snakes. They threw you in the pit with snakes. How come? How come you were not afraid? He said, look, my father is resting on a bed of snakes. So when a child is crawling on the bed of his father, is he afraid? Is he afraid? But Prahlad, Hhiranyakkasipu even forced your own mother to give you poison. He forced her. That's how powerful he was. Broke her mother's heart into 1,000,000 pieces and forced her to give poison to the child. Prahlad, why did nothing happen? Prahlad said, he said, my father appeared from an ocean of poison. Yeah, so why would I, as Dhanvantari, why would I have to be in anxiety? So it's in this way. Prahlad was never in anxiety. He was truly in Vaikuntha consciousness, because Vaikuntha means that, without anxiety. So a truly transcendental person, one who was not slightly tinged with the bodily platform. We can be Hare Krishna, we can be chanting Hare Krishna, we can all day be engaged in devotional service, but then there's still a little bit of bodily identification. But Prahlad Maharaj there was no bodily identification. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we find a reference to the sage Dadati, and that in the case of killing the demon Vritasura, the demigods needed a special weapon. And somehow or other it had been revealed to them that it had to be made of the bones of the sage Dadati, and that then it would work. So they went to this sage and said, we come and ask for some charity. And the sage said, whatever you desire. He said, well, actually, we need your bones. Right? We need your bones. Now, if you come to me and say you want my bones, I'll give you my bones on your nose. It's like, don't you touch my bones, eh? But Dadati is the one who gave, Dadati. So Dadati gave. He said, just wait a moment, I'll just give up my body, and then you can take the bones. So he was totally detached from the body. And as such, Dadati is very famous as the most charitable person. He gave his bones. He was not attached to them. And Prahlad equally so. He was not attached at all to the material body. He was not trying to prolong his existence. It was simply up to the Lord, whatever he desires. So Prahlad's words are completely transcendental. completely transcendental. So let me just look at the time. Okay, I'll read this also. Naham bibemi ajitate tibayana kasya jivarkanetra brukutira baso gradam strat antras raja ksataya keshara shanku karnan nirada bita digibat aribin nakagrat. My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your voracious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp, pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high, wedge-like ears. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. And then Prahlad continues, Trastosmi aham kripanavatsala dusaho gra sansara chakra kadanat grasatam pranitaha bada swakarmabir usatama tengrimulam prito pavarga sharanam vashaye kadanu. O most powerful, insurmountable Lord, who are kind to the fallen soul, I've been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities. And therefore I'm very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. Here is fearless Prahlad, completely fearless. And he's afraid, he's expressing fear of material existence. This is the correct understanding. Swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. It says in Bhagavad Gita that one can become delivered from the most dangerous type of fear by devotional service. And that most dangerous type of fear is that we will stay in this material world life after life. So Prahlad, who is fearless, is afraid of his condition in material life. He's just like, now I got the association of demons. I'm in a very precarious position. When will that moment come? When you will call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the ultimate goal for liberation from conditional life. Now I'm going to jump a little because it's a big chapter. I cannot read all the verses. 1 minute. So there's a whole series of verses that are asking for protection, where Prahlad is asking for protection under the lotus feet of the Lord, and to be accepted as a servant of the Lord. And he is speaking about material existence and about the influence of time. Tasmat amustanubritam aham asisugya ayusriyam vibhavam ayindriyam avirinchat nechami te vilulitan urvikramena Kalat mano panaya mam nijabritcha paraswam. My dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, and other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities, from Lord Brahma down to the end. As powerful time, you destroy them all. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant. Yes. So Prahlad is looking at himself not only from this one very life, because he's 5 years old. What experience does he have? He is a 5-year-old and he says, now I have experience listen, my little boy, what experience do you have? You know what I mean? You are still wet behind your ears, right? No, not like that. Prahlad is seeing all his previous lives. And Prahlad is seeing how so many lifetimes have been spent in the material world. And in all these lives, yes, in some of them, he has had great worldly opulence. He has had wealth. He has had power. He has even had mystic power. In the higher planetary systems, in Siddhaloka, all the residents naturally have mystic power. They can just fly in the sky at their wish or manifest anything they want. Here, you got to save a lot of money and then you can buy it. Right? But it takes a long... But there, it just manifests. So, Prahlad is speaking, yes. Now he's not attracted to mystic power. He sees the limits of it. This mystic power is very interesting. Imagine. You could walk through the wall. Imagine. What walls would you walk through? The wall of the bank? Think about it. But Prahlad has no such desires. Longevity, oh yes, a long life. Oh yes, thank you, I bless you with a long life. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, we want long life. And other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities. From Lord Brahma down to the end. Yes, all living beings in the entire universe are enjoying sense gratification, even the ants. The ants are known for always working. They always work. At night, if you get up at night and there are ants, in India especially you can see these things, the ants, sometimes a whole river of ants through your room, right? It's not uncommon. And you see, and they're busy at night. It's like, are they ever sleeping? Do ants ever go to bed, right? No, they don't. Do you ever see ants lying on the beach, sunglasses, and having a holiday? Have you seen? No. Ants are known to be always working. And what are they working for? Everybody knows. Sugar. Sugar. And what do they do with the sugar? What do they do with the sugar? Huh? Do they eat the sugar? No, they don't. They carry the sugar. Have you seen? They get sugar, they carry it away. Where are they bringing it to? They bring it to the ant's nest. And then they store the sugar there. And what are they doing with the sugar? They turn it into alcohol. I read about that. Interesting, isn't it? So, what are they working for? Prahlad was not interested in some schnapps or anything like that. No. Prahlad could see all these things. What's the point of all these fleeting pleasures that are all destroyed by time? What's the point? So Prahlad thoroughly saw the influence of time and the temporary nature of the material energy. I'm going to jump a bit further. So Prahlad carries on this topic of time for quite a while in various verses. And he is speaking about the Lord who expands himself and who is involved in controlling the entire material energy, the cosmic manifestation, and how the material world comes into being, and also how it is destroyed again. He speaks, and time, of course, is dealing with all the distraction of material enjoyment. Text 40. Jivai kato chutta vikarsati mavir tripta shisnon yatas tvak udaram sravanam kutaschit grianon yatas chapaladrik kvacha karma shaktir bhavya sapatnya ihageya patim nunanti. Oh, my dear Lord, O infallible one, my position is like that of a person who has many wives, all trying to attract him in their own way. For example, the tongue is attracted to palatable dishes, the genitals to sex with an attractive woman, and the sense of touch to contact with soft things. The belly, although filled, still wants to eat more, and the ear, not attempting to hear about you, is generally attracted to cinema songs. Prabhupada writes. That's funny, isn't it? The sense of smell is attracted to yet another side. The restless eyes are attracted to scenes of sense gratification, and the active senses are attracted elsewhere. In this way, I'm certainly embarrassed. To Prabhupada, cinema songs is like a symbol of a total waste of time, right? And just 2 days ago, I heard this lecture, Prabhupada lecture, where he's saying that he met a friend in his youth. He met a friend, and his friend wanted to take him to the cinema. And Prabhupada said, no, how can I go to that place, to such a place, just, the temple of materialism. And then his friend, he said, but my friend forced me. He took me there by force. Now, in Indian culture, because people are by nature submissive, they can sometimes be forced. A Westerner to be forced, what happened? Did he take you under your arm or something, Sort of legs and arms flapping, he took me there by force, right? What could I do? He carried me in. I mean, no, not like that. Because of in Vedic culture, people are so thoroughly submissive. So if someone pushes very hard, what can they do? Right? What can I do? He forced me. This exists in Indian culture. Difficult to understand at first for a stubborn Dutchman, a hard head who says, no, I will not move. Yes, okay, now I want to really go further into the chapter. Naivodvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas tvatvirya gayana mahamrita maknachitaha soche tato vimukka chetasa indriyarta maya sukaya bharam udvahato vimudan. O best of the great personalities, I'm not at all afraid of material existence, for wherever I stay, I'm fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I'm simply concerned with love for them. And then the next verse, Prayena deva muniyo svavimukti kama monam charanti vijanena paratta nista naitan vihaya kripanan vimamuksu eko nanyantradasya sharanam brahmato nupasye. My dear Lord Narasimhadev, I see there are many saintly persons indeed, but they're interested only in their own deliverance. Not caring for the big cities and towns, they go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, Monavrat. They're not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone, leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals. I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to the shelter at your lotus feet. So these two verses describe then the materialists who preoccupy themselves with enjoying the material energy, and it describes also those transcendentalists who are only interested in their own salvation. And Prahlad is pointing out, no, that is not him. He is interested in delivering others. And that is that makes Prahlad completely relevant to the time that we live in. Because we are living in this era of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is our focus. So Prahlad is completely in that mood, completely in the mood of a Sankirtan devotee. 100% a mood of one who wants to deliver the fallen conditioned soul, one who is paradukha dukhi, who is actually affected by the suffering of others, who actually is seeing, oh, look, all these living beings, they somehow or other have become bewildered by the illusory energy, and they are just bringing so much suffering upon themselves. They don't realize that they need the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So the first verse was talking about the material, the sense, those who engage in sense gratification. The second verse about the devotees who are, or those transcendentalists who are concerned with their own advancement. And the third verse, now coming, Yanmet tunadi grihamedi sukkami tucham kanda yunena karyori vadukka dukkam tripyantine kripana bahudukka bhaja kandutifam manasijam visaheta dira. Sex life is compared to the rubbing of two hands to relieve an itch. Grihamedis, so-called grihastas, who have no spiritual knowledge, think that this itching is the greatest platform of happiness, although actually it is a source of distress. The kripanas, the fools, who are just the opposite of brahmanas, are not satisfied by repeated sense enjoyment. Those who are dhira, however, are sober, and who tolerate this itching, are not subjected to the suffering of fools and rascals. So Prahlad gets into he sinks his teeth into the essence of sense gratification. Right? The Griha Medi, the Meda, is sometimes described as a wooden beam. And in India, they tie the wooden beam to a central pole, an axis, and then the wooden bullock moves around in circles on the Meda, on the wooden beam. So Griha Medi is one who is circling around the Griha, and Prahlad is not beating around the bush. He gets straight to the point. And what is it all about? Sex life. So everything then circles around sex life. That is, and then Prahlad points out, they are kripanas, they are misers. They're misers, they're just concerned with what they can get. What's in it for me? That's a miser. What's in it for me? What can I get? Yes, two hands like rakes. Yes, what can I get? What's in it for me? Whereas Prahlad is just the opposite. He is very generous. He's very generous. And think, what can I give? What can I give? What can I give to this situation? What can I bring to elevate this situation? What can I contribute to increase the mercy? That is Vaishnava. That is Vaishnava. What can I contribute to increase the mercy in this situation? On this planet, in this room, in this world, in my life, at every moment. What can I contribute? And that is most wonderful. So this And such a person is dhira, is totally sober, is totally not impressed by the material energy, doesn't want to take anything. What's the point? Let me give. Let me give and let me give. Yes, there are many more verses. I just want to take one more, but I have to quickly find it. So that's what you get when you don't prepare the lecture and put stickers or this and that. Okay, I don't see it actually, but I'll do this one. Basically, there is one prayer where Prahlad is saying that when you decorate your face, then the face in the mirror is also decorated. Yes. And he said, in the same way, when we are offering service to the Supreme Lord, actually, all the offerings we make to the Supreme Lord, He doesn't need them, because He is transcendental. We're cooking a big feast to offer to the Lord. The Lord doesn't need to eat. He doesn't starve. I mean, we starve, right? Hungry, not yet, but coming soon. Fast day, starve. Sringadev, even if we don't feed him, he will not starve. He will not die. But the Lord accepts the offering of the devotee. He accepts the devotion of the devotee. But then the amazing thing is that as one makes so many offerings to the Lord, the person who makes the offerings, he gets the benefit of it. He gets the result of it. He gets purified. So that's the image of the face in the mirror, gets the decorations also. So the devotee gets the benefit from all these offerings that are made to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is Prahlad, who is always engaging in the service of the Lord, and as a result is very blissful, who is always thinking of how to give, how to increase the mercy in this world. And therefore Prahlad is one of the 12 Mahajans. Prahlado Janako Bhismo Balirvayasaki Vayam. So Prahlad is one of the 12 Mahajans, one of the 12 great personalities who stands there as a self-effulgent example. And we study the life of Prahlad. We study the prayers of Prahlad. We study the instructions that he gives earlier on to the demoniac schoolmates. All these we read again and again, because in all of these we will find the strength and the solutions for dealing with all the things that come up on the spiritual path. It's not just, this is nice inspiration, these are deep verses. No, the verses are relating to what we encounter on the path. So in this way, they actually give us answers to the issues that we are facing. It's very interesting because I get a lot of letters from a lot of devotees, and then sometimes there is Krishna consciousness and there is all the trouble in my life. Okay? And then get a letter about all the trouble in my life. And then it's like the trouble in my life, the trouble in my life, the trouble in my life, type, and it's a long letter, the trouble in my life. And then after written that letter, then turn back to Krishna consciousness. But no, Krishna consciousness is right there. There's one thing the Pope said, which I actually liked, so I'll quote the Pope for you. One time, the Pope was speaking to a drug addict. And the Pope said to him, he said, you will not find God in the church. He said, you will not find God in the holy book. He said, you will find God in your addiction. Or in other words, in your moment of greatest despair, when you get stuck, when you get really in an addiction, you're stuck. It's more powerful than you, right? An addiction, right? In the 12-step program, the first thing you have to admit is that it's more powerful than you. That's step number 1 of the 12 steps. So the addiction is more powerful than you, and that makes you desperate. And then all you can do is pray. All you can do there is turn to a greater personality. That's what he meant. So that is very, very nice, right? And Prahlad is showing this consistently. It is very interesting how at one point, here is Hhiranyakashipu, a towering personality, enormous, powerful body. And he is just towering over this little, fragile 5-year-old child. Right? And he's saying, where are you getting your strength? Strength? You little worm. What strength does a kid have? But Prahlad had this strength, this incredible strength to remain with Lord Narsimhadev, to remain focused on the Lord, then not yet Lord Narsimhadev, and to remain focused on Lord Vishnu, on the lotus feet of the Lord. So at one point, Hhiranyakashipu became afraid of the strength of this boy. He says, this boy is too powerful. He is too powerful. Let me kill him now before he grows up. What's he going to be like? So this is the amazing situation where between the two, Prahlad was more powerful. He was more powerful than Hhiranyakashipu. And it began to dawn upon Hhiranyakashipu, and therefore in fear and in desperation, he tried to kill him. Right? He tried to kill him before it was getting out of hand. It's already got out of hand. It's going to get more out of hand. It's out of control. This boy is out of control. Kill him now. Interesting. So, Prahlad was saying to his father asked, where are you getting your strength? He said, from the same source as where you are getting it, Father, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. That Hhiranyakashipu didn't like. But because Prahlad aligned with the Supreme Lord, therefore he became a perfect via media of the transcendental power of the Lord. And therefore, on this day of the appearance of Lord Narsimhadev, we are turning to Prahlad. We're turning to Prahlad so that we can become, by following in his footsteps, a perfect via media of the Lord. And in that way, truly glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who kindly appears again and again in this material world. Thank you very much.